Welcome aboard, everyone. It is so wonderful to have you back in the galley with me today. If you are new here, pull up a jump seat and get comfortable. I'm Chloe. I have been a flight attendant for over 12 years, flying coast to coast across the United States and internationally to destinations I once only dreamed about. I have calmed anxious passengers, helped families wrangle strollers and car seats, and watched countless travelers navigate the sometimes confusing world of airport security. Because I spend my life in airports, I notice things. I see the patterns. I see what causes delays, what makes officers pause, and most importantly, I see the questions that catch travelers completely off guard. Today, we need to have an important conversation about the questions you might be asked at the airport, not just at security, but at customs, at the gate, and during secondary screenings. For my senior travelers, this is especially important because you are often the most prepared packers, but the least prepared when it comes to verbal questioning. You have your medications organized, your outfits planned, but when an officer asks you something unexpected, the hesitation on your face can trigger further scrutiny. So grab a cup of coffee, maybe take some notes, and let us walk through the 15 airport questions you absolutely must be ready to answer in 2026. Before we dive in, let me give you some context. There are several points in your airport journey where you might be questioned. First, there is the TSA identification checkpoint, where they verify your ID and boarding pass. Then there is the actual screening process. If you are traveling internationally, you will face customs and border protection officers when you return to the United States. And if something flags their system, you could be pulled for secondary screening, which is more intensive questioning. The questions I'm about to share come up at all of these stages. Question 1. What is your full legal name as it appears on your identification? This sounds simple, but I cannot tell you how many seniors I have seen fumble this one. If your driver's license says Margaret Ann Smith, but you go by Peggy, you need to say Margaret Ann Smith. Your boarding pass name must match your identification exactly. If you have a suffix like junior or senior, know whether it appears on your ID. Officers are checking for consistency, and any hesitation suggests you might be traveling under a false identity. Practice saying your full legal name as written. Question 2. Where are you traveling today? Again, this seems obvious, but be specific. Do not say I am going to see my daughter. Say I am flying to Denver, Colorado. Officers want clear, direct answers. If you are on a connecting flight, you can mention your final destination, but keep it simple. Rambling about your entire itinerary when they asked a simple question makes you appear nervous or evasive. Question 3. What is the purpose of your trip? This is one of the most common questions at customs when returning from international travel. Have a clear, honest answer ready. Visiting family, vacation, attending a wedding, business meeting. If you were on a cruise, say you were on a cruise. Do not overcomplicate it. Officers are trained to detect deception, and complicated stories about how your cousin's neighbor invited you to a timeshare presentation sound suspicious even when they are true. Question 4. How long will you be staying, or how long were you away? If you're leaving the country, know your return date. If you are returning, know how many days you were gone. This matters because extended absences can trigger questions about residency, especially for permanent residents returning to the United States. Customs officers are checking that your trip length makes sense for your stated purpose. A 2-week vacation is normal. A 4-month vacation might prompt follow-up questions. Question 5. Where will you be staying, or where did you stay? Have an address ready. Even if you are staying with family, know their street address, not just their city. If you stayed at a hotel, remember the name of the hotel. Officers may write this down or verify it against your reservation confirmation. I recommend keeping a small card in your wallet with your accommodation details for this exact reason. Question 6. Are you traveling alone or with others? If you are traveling with a spouse, say so. If you are part of a tour group, mention that. What officers are looking for is consistency. If you say you are traveling alone but you are just chatting with someone in line who has the same destination, that could raise questions. Be straightforward. If you met nice people on the plane and walked together to customs, you are still traveling alone. Question 7. Are you carrying more than $10,000 in currency or monetary instruments? This is a critical customs question, and many seniors do not realize it applies to them. If you are carrying cash, traveler's checks, Money orders, or even gold coins that total more than $10,000, you must declare it. This includes the combined total if you are traveling as a family. There is no penalty for carrying large amounts of money legally. The penalty comes from not declaring it. Failure to declare can result in seizure of the money and fines up to $500,000. If you are carrying significant cash for any reason, declare it and fill out the required FinCEN Form 105. Question 8. Are you bringing any food, plants, or agricultural products into the country? When returning to the United States from international travel, this question is mandatory. Be honest. That apple you grabbed at breakfast, those candies from the gift shop, the wooden figurine you bought at the market, these all count. Certain foods and plant products are prohibited because they can carry pests or diseases that threaten American agriculture. If you declare something and it is prohibited, they will simply confiscate it. If you fail to declare it and they find it, you could face fines starting at $300. Question 9. Do you have a real ID compliant identification? Since May 2025, standard driver's licenses without the star marking are no longer accepted at TSA checkpoints. If you present a non-compliant ID, you will be asked if you have an alternative form of identification, such as a passport. If you do not, you may go through an identity verification process that takes additional time and could involve extra screening. Before any trip, check your ID for the star symbol. If you do not have a real ID, a valid passport works as an alternative. Question 10. What medications are you traveling with? TSA officers may ask about medications during screening, especially if you are carrying liquids over 3.4 ounces or items that look unusual on the X-ray. You are allowed to bring medically necessary liquids in reasonable quantities, but you must declare them at the beginning of the screening process. Have a simple answer ready. I am traveling with insulin, or I have liquid prescription medication for my heart condition. You do not need to show a prescription for domestic travel, but having documentation can speed things up if questions arise. Question 11. What is in this bag? If your carry-on triggers additional screening, an officer will ask what is inside before they open it. This is your opportunity to be helpful. My laptop and reading glasses, or my snacks and a change of clothes. If you packed something unusual that you know might look odd on the X-ray, mention it proactively. I have a CPAP machine in there, or there is a heating pad for my back. Transparency moves the process along faster. Question 12. Can you unlock your phone or electronic device? This question comes up primarily at international border crossings, not at standard TSA checkpoints. Customs and Border Protection has broad authority to examine electronic devices when you enter the United States. If you are a U.S. citizen, you cannot be denied entry for refusing, but it may cause significant delays. If you are a permanent resident or visa holder, refusal could have more serious consequences. Know your rights, but also understand that cooperation generally speeds the process. If you have nothing to hide, unlocking your phone when asked is usually the fastest path through. Question 13. Who packed your bags? This classic question still gets asked, particularly when checking luggage or at certain international security checkpoints. The correct answer is I packed them myself. If someone helped you, know what they packed. The officer wants to confirm you have knowledge of everything in your luggage. If your grandchild helped you zip up your suitcase, that is fine. But you should still know the contents. Never carry items through security for someone else, or accept packages from strangers. This is how innocent travelers become unwitting smugglers. Question 14. Have you been to any farms or had contact with livestock? This agricultural question is asked when returning from certain countries. It is about biosecurity. Diseases like foot and mouth disease can travel on shoes and clothing. If you visited a farm, even just a petting zoo, say yes. They may ask you to step on a mat or have your shoes inspected. This is not about getting you in trouble. It is about protecting American agriculture from devastating diseases. Honest answers help everyone. Question 15. Is there anything you want to tell me that I have not asked about? This open-ended question is a classic interrogation technique used in secondary screening. It is designed to prompt confessions or additional information. If you have nothing to add, simply say no. I believe I have answered everything. Do not feel pressured to fill silence with chatter. Many people get nervous and start rambling, which can inadvertently create new issues. Stay calm, stay brief, and stay honest. Now that we have covered the questions, let me give you some general preparation advice. First, practice your answers out loud before your trip. This is not about memorizing a script, it is about reducing hesitation. When you can answer confidently, you appear credible and move through faster. Second, keep important information accessible. Write down your destination address, your return date, your accommodation details, and keep this note in your travel wallet. When you are tired and jet lagged, having these details written down prevents fumbling. Third, understand that officers are doing their jobs. They are not trying to ruin your vacation. They are looking for inconsistencies that might indicate criminal activity. When you answer clearly and honestly, you help them clear you quickly and move on to actual threats. Fourth, if you get pulled for secondary screening, do not panic. It does not mean you did anything wrong. Sometimes it is random, sometimes a name matches a database entry, sometimes they just want to verify something. Stay calm, answer questions directly, and it will be over before you know it. Finally, consider enrolling in trusted traveler programs like TSA PreCheck or Global Entry. These programs pre-screen you so you face fewer questions at the airport. For seniors who travel even a few times per year, the time saved and stress reduced is worth every penny. I want you to travel with confidence. I want you to walk up to that customs officer, answer their questions like the prepared traveler you are, and breeze through to your destination. The questions are not meant to trick you. They are meant to verify what you already know about your own trip. In my next video, I am going to cover the new biometric screening systems rolling out at airports and what seniors need to know about facial recognition technology. You definitely do not want to miss that one. Thank you so much for trusting me with your travel preparation. Take a few minutes today to review these questions and think about your answers. Practice with your spouse or a friend. And remember, preparation is the secret to stress-free travel. Stay safe, stay prepared, and I will see you in the skies. Bye, everyone. Bye.